call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Brockton City Council to order. Will you all please join me in standing and saluting the flag?
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 1, acceptance of the minutes of the July 25th, 2022 City Council meeting.
accepted and placed on file.
Appointments. Appointment of Brenda Perez of Brockton, Mass. to the position of police chief for a 5-year term ending in July 2027.
Councilor Minicello.
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and resolve this matter this evening if possible.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor of moving under suspension? All opposed? The motion passes. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President, members of the council, first of all, I want to thank you for taking under suspension. You all know Acting Chief Brenda Perez. Chief Perez has been nothing but excellent in my endeavors with her on a daily basis, quite honestly. She is a leader. She is a proud graduate of Brockton High School. She is not just someone that has served our community in law enforcement, but our nation in the military. And I'm really excited about her permanent appointment before you tonight. And I humbly ask for a unanimous vote to move this forward so that Chief Perez can be chief and we can take that acting moniker away from her name. Thank you.
Acting Chief.
Good evening, councilors. I'd like to take a few minutes, I'd like to take a few minutes to thank Mayor Sullivan and the hiring committee for giving me the opportunity to lead the men and women of the Brockton Police Department. I'd like to thank you, councilors, and look forward to working alongside you for a better Brockton, whether that is through our community engagement efforts or working together to find solutions to quality of life issues. We are ready to get to work. I'd like to take a moment also to thank all the employees of the Brockton Police Department. Each one of you is an integral part of this department, and your dedication to the city and the residents every day is commendable. I want to thank my family, my mother and father, who came here with the dream of a better life, like so many of our residents. They showed me the meaning of hard work, service, and courage. Finally, thank you to my husband and my sons for their unwavering support. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
The question comes on the appointment. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak. Absolutely yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Minicello.
Absolutely, positively, yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Definitely yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 8 in the affirmative.
Seems like the appointment was confirmed. Congratulations, Chief.
Mr. President,
Councilor Minicello.
I make a motion for reconsideration in the hopes that it does not prevail.
Second.
Motion for reconsideration has been properly made and seconded. All in favor of reconsideration? All opposed? Reconsideration fails. Congratulations, Chief. Mr. Clerk?
Item number 2, promotion of Sergeant Victor Perez of Brockton, Mass. to the rank of lieutenant.
Sergeant Perez.
Mr. President.
Councilor Thompson.
Yeah, Mr. President, I make a motion to take this agenda item under a suspension of the rules and act on it tonight.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? The motion is approved. Sergeant Perez, could you just stand up? We'll acknowledge you. Thank you. The appointment is up. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The appointment is confirmed. Counselor Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a further motion to, for reconsideration of this matter in hopes that it does not prevail.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded for reconsideration. All in favor of reconsideration? All opposed? Reconsideration fails. Congratulations, Lieutenant Perez.
Item number 4, promotion of Officer Daniel McIntosh of Marshfield, Mass. to the rank of sergeant.
Councilor Castro.
President, I move to suspend the rules and act on this matter this.
All right, question comes on voting to take this under suspension of the rules. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Question comes on the appointment. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The appointment is confirmed. Councilor Castro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for reconsideration in hopes that it fails.
Second.
Motion for reconsideration has been properly made and seconded. All in favor of reconsideration? All opposed? Reconsideration fails. Congratulations, Sergeant. You want to do it first? Or?
You can make a motion.
Councilor Farwell.
Mr. President, on items 5, 6, and 7, after they're read by the clerk, I move that we suspend the rules and act on them this evening,
Collectively?
collectively.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded to take items 5, 6, and 7 collectively and act on them under suspension of the rules. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Clerk.
Appointment of Police Officer Adelson Mendez of Brockton, Mass. as a special police officer. Appointment of Police Officer Abraham D. Nazario of Brockton, Mass. as a special police officer. The appointment of Police Officer Mark DeVoe of Brockton, Mass. as a special police officer.
Officers, thank you. Councilor Farwell, you made the motion, so question comes on appointment. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The appointments are confirmed. Councilor Farwell.
Mr. President, I move reconsideration in the hope that it does not prevail.
Second.
Motion for reconsideration has been properly made and seconded. All in favor of reconsideration? All opposed? Reconsideration fails. Congratulations, officers. Councilors, at this time, I'm going to call a brief recess. Councilors, we are back. Mr. Clerk, item number 8.
Item 8, appointment of Martha Tester of West Chestnut Street, Brockton, Mass. to the Women's Commission for a 3-year term ending August 2025.
Referred to Finance.
Hearings, petition of HMP Realty LLC, Mylad Holmesy of High Street, Westwood, Mass. for a garage license transfer located at 955 Montello Street, Brockton, Mass. In City Clerk's Office, June 7th, 2022. Hearing assigned for July 25th, 2022. Postponed from July 25th, 2022 City Council meeting. Fire Department has no objections. All paperwork is on file.
Time having arrived, I declare this hearing open. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in favor? If so, please come up and give your name and address to the clerk.
Christopher Holmesy of 180 Commonwealth Avenue in Boston.
Milad Homsey, 540 High Street, Westwood.
Anything you'd like to say, or if you'd like?
That was beautiful ceremony. Congratulations to everybody. We're here to transfer the license from Guerrero to HMP Realty.
Yep, I'm going to speak.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else here in favor? If not, I declare that portion of the hearing closed. Is there anyone here in opposition? Seeing none, I declare that portion of the hearing closed. Question comes on granting the...
Before you do that, may I just speak?
Councilman Castro.
Thank you. This property is at Montello Street, and it is in Ward 4. And it's in that stretch of Montello Street, right near the former St. Margaret's Parish and the St. Margaret's Rectory. And as many people know, I get a lot of calls about it. It's filled with car repair businesses, and the cars can often be around everywhere. And there's a lot of activity there. The cars are left on the street, sometimes on the sidewalk. I've talked to Mr. Holmesy about this, and also to his attorney, Attorney Holmesy, and they have represented to me that at least his property, which is the one to the left, will be better maintained, and he will speak to his tenants about complying with their licenses and his leases with them, so that there will be fewer cars there and the place will be kept in order. And I am confident that Mr. Holmesy will do that. They're coming in for a garage license 5 years after he bought the property, and that's unfortunate, but we are cleaning that up this evening. He has the right to this garage license. I am just hopeful and confident, having spoken with both of them, that the property will be kept in better repair. I've made them aware that I've received easily 24 calls about this property and the one next door each year because of the condition it's been kept in. He assures me that his property will be better maintained, and so I do support this garage license being transferred. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Question comes on granting the garage license transfer. Hand vote or?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, by hand vote. All in favor? All opposed? License is transferred.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move reconsideration in the hope it does not prevail.
Second.
Motion to reconsider has been properly made and seconded. All in favor of reconsideration? All opposed? Reconsideration fails.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Item number 10, report of the Finance Committee for its meeting of August 15th, 2022.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor appointing Brenda Perez of Brockton, Mass. to the position of police chief for a 5-year term ending in July 2027.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the acting director of human resources recommending that you appoint Sergeant Victor Perez, one of the top-ranked candidates, to the rank of lieutenant.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the acting chief of police requesting Officer Daniel McIntosh be promoted to the rank of sergeant as he is a top-ranked candidate on the attached promotional list.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor appointing Special Police Officer Adelson Mendez of Brockton, Mass. as a Special Police Officer.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the mayor appointing Police Officer Abraham D. Nazario Jr. of Brockton, Mass. as a Special Police Officer.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor appointing Police Officer Mark DeVoe of Brockton, Mass. as a Special Police Officer.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor appointing Martha Tester of Brockton, Mass. to the Women's Commission for a 3-year term ending August 2025.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the DPW Engineering Superintendent requesting that the City Council for the layout and the acceptance of the following streets as outlined in the draft council orders: Dorothy Road, Boundary Street, Westerly. Number 2, Corolla Road, Dorothy Road, Northwesterly.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council support a proposed approval of the HDIP tax increment exemption agreement, TIE, between the city and 46 Montello LLC for the property located at 46 Montello Street.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the acting chief of police requesting authorization to expend grant monies in the amount of $30,000 related to a subaward from the Massachusetts State Police Edward J. Byrne Justice Assistant Grant Award.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor. In accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council authorize the proposed appropriation of $55,572.82 from Human Resources Employee Benefits Contractual Union Costs to various departments. This is for the purposes of funding the SEIU Local 888 Department Heads Union contract without detrimental impact on the continuous provision of the existing level of municipal services. This appropriation provides funding for 3 years, July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2025, of a 3-year contract.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor in accordance with Section 5 of Chapter 324 of the Acts of 1990, recommending that the City Council support the proposed authorization of the opioid settlement revolving fund, provided that no more than $250,000 may be expended during fiscal year 2023 without a detrimental impact on the continuous provision of the existing level of municipal services. The city is a party to a class action suit and will receive more than $4 million over the next 16 years to address treatment and related services to those living with addiction.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, Section 53A, recommending that the City Council authorize the appropriation and expenditure of the grant award in the amount of $9,016,226.11 from Plymouth County to unappropriated estimated receipts, American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA Fund.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Unfinished business, we have the appointment of Adawomi Oluwatoyin of Country Club Lane, Brockton, Mass. to the Women's Commission for a 3-year term ending July 2025.
The question is on confirmation by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The appointment is confirmed.
Item number 33, the appointment of Lawrence Jazewski of Brockton, Mass. to the Elections Commission for a 4-year term ending July 2026. In City Council, July 25th, 2022. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
The question comes on adoption by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The appointment is confirmed.
Item 34, appointment of Sandra Chatton of Boston, Mass. to the position of Director of Human Resources for a 3-year term ending in July 2025. In City Council, July 2022. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on confirmation by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nicastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The appointment is confirmed. Councilor Farwell.
Mr. President, on items 32, 33, and 34, I move reconsideration in the hope that it does not prevail.
Second.
Councilors, the question is on taking items 32, 33, and 34 collectively and taking them under reconsideration. Do we have to go collectively, right?
You're fine.
Reconsideration move on those 3.
Okay. All in favor of reconsideration? All opposed? Reconsideration fails.
Item number 35, ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $50,000 from Massachusetts Department of Transportation, MassDOT Fiscal Year 23 Shared Streets and Spaces Program Grant, to Department of Public Works Fiscal Year 23 Shared Street and Spaces Program Grant Fund. These grant funds will be used by the Department of Public Works to purchase snowplows. In City Council, July 25th, 2022. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Councilors, the question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nacastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Item number 36, ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $5,000 from Plymouth County District Attorney's Office Fiscal Year 23 Drug Prevention, Education, and Awareness Program Grant to the Brockton Police Department Fiscal Year 23 Drug Prevention, Education, and Awareness Program Grant Fund. These grant funds will be used by the Brockton Police Department for the care and training of Brockton Police Department's Comfort Canine, Bonnie, who provides emotional support for the well-being of drug-endangered children, students with adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, and others that require that service. In City Council, July 25th, 2022, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Questions on adoption by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nacastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yeah.
9
Yep.
in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Item number 37, ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $96,500 from the Executive Office of Health and Human Services, Department of Mental Health, Fiscal Year 23 Massachusetts Jail and Arrest Diversion Grant Program to the City of Brockton Police Department Fiscal Year 23 Massachusetts Jail and Arrest Diversion Grant Program. These grant funds will be used to pay for crisis intervention team training and mental health first aid training for Brockton police officers. There is no match required. In City Council, July 25th, 2022, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Questions on adoption by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak.
Yes.
Farwell.
Yes.
Lally.
Yes.
Mendez.
Yes.
Minicello.
Yes.
Nacastro.
Yes.
Tavares.
Yes.
Texera.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Resolved to invite Chief Brenda Perez of the Brockton Police Department and Chief Brian Nardelli of the Brockton Fire Department and/or their designees to appear before the Finance Committee of the Brockton City Council to discuss the work of the Fireworks Joint Task Force, including, without limitation, the number of calls received by its hotline, number of visits to city properties, amount of fireworks confiscated, their opinions of the effectiveness of the task force, and reflect on what has been learned and what will be implemented in the future. In City Council, July 25th, 2022, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Councilors, question comes on adoption by hand vote. All in favor? All opposed? The order is adopted.
Item 39, resolved to have representatives of the Greater Brockton Minority Business Association, GBMBA, appear before the Brockton City Council to help bring awareness to their efforts to assist the minority business community in the city. In City Council, July 25th, 2022, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question comes on adoption by hand vote. All in favor? All opposed? The order is adopted.
Item number 40, resolved to have representatives of Moms Demand Action Organization appear before the Brockton City Council to help bring awareness to their campaign to educate the public on gun safety. In City Council, July 25th, 2022, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question comes on adoption by hand vote. All in favor? All opposed? The order is adopted.
Item 41, ordinance. An ordinance creating an inspectional services department. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton as follows. Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 8, Superintendent of Public Buildings of the Ordinances of the City of Brockton is hereby amended by inserting the following section where appropriate. There is hereby established an inspectional services department, ISD, within the building department. The executive, and administrative head shall be the superintendent of public buildings as the building commissioner, hereinafter the commissioner. Inspectors within the building department and health department shall be under the daily supervision of the commissioner. For the purposes of this ordinance, the word inspector shall mean a person employed or compensated pursuant to a contractual agreement whose duties include the enforcement of laws, regulations, and ordinances related to the state building code, state health code, laws of the Commonwealth, or ordinances of the City of Brockton. The mayor, at his discretion, may appoint a chief of inspections or inspectional services coordinator or person of similar title who shall supervise the inspectional personnel and report to the commissioner. The person so appointed shall be compensated as determined by city ordinance. The appointment shall be confirmed by the city council. The person appointed by the mayor shall be exempt from the provisions of section 2-110 of the revised ordinances of the city of Brockton. However, where equal qualifications exist as determined by the mayor, a resident of the city of Brockton shall be given preference for appointment. The commissioner shall be responsible for the following duties and responsibilities, which include, but are not limited to, 1, assign daily and weekly duties to inspectors to ensure all laws, regulations, and ordinances are fairly, consistently, and uniformly enforced. 2, enforce provisions of the zoning code, including stipulations imposed by the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Planning Board, or other regulatory board. 3, file a quarterly report with the mayor and city council, which shall contain, but not be limited to, the number of complaints filed for the quarter, the number of complaints filed for the year to date, a comparison with previous years, the status of the complaints, and any specific problems encountered with the zoning ordinance, and any recommendations for correction of such problems. 4, by March 1st of each calendar year, file a report with the city clerk and city council with recommendations for additions or amendments to the city ordinances to improve code enforcement.
Referred to ordinance.
Item number 42, ordinance. An ordinance amending Article 3, Section 2-127 of the revised ordinances of the city of Brockton. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton as follows. Article 3, Section 127 of the ordinances of the City of Brockton is hereby amended by inserting the following. Category PR2, position Inspectional Services Coordinator, Chief of Inspection. Minimum salary $83,130 with 3 steps above.
Referred to ordinance.
Item number 43, ordinance. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton as follows, that the City Council adopt the following amendment to the ordinance relative to the permitting and regulation of food truck operations in the City of Brockton. Under application requirements and procedures, Section 1 shall be stricken in its entirety and replaced with the following language. 1, all mobile food vendors shall provide the Board of Health with a copy of a state-issued hawkers and peddlers license. Under application requirements and procedures, Section 2 shall be stricken in its entirety. Under application requirements and procedures, Section 5A shall be amended to increase the permit annual fee from $100 to $125, and the following language shall be stricken. The application fee shall be $50 to eliminate an application fee. Under application requirements and procedures, Section 5B shall be amended to increase the permit renewal annual fee from $100 to $125, and the following language shall be stricken. The renewal application fee shall be $50 to eliminate a renewal application fee. Under application requirements and procedures, Section 5G shall be amended to increase the fine for a first offense from $100 to $125.
Referred to ordinance.
Item 44, ordinance. Whereas the city has a commission on diversity which has not consistently met in over a year or longer, and whereas the mayor made 2 recent appointments of residents who are willing to serve as members of the Commission on Diversity, but they have not yet had any opportunity to contribute to our community. And whereas the ordinances of the city of Brockton required an annual report from the Commission on Diversity, which has not been submitted for at least 2 years. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton, Article 2, Division 6 is deleted in its entirety. In its place is inserted the following: an ordinance establishing a Human Rights Commission in the City of Brockton. Preamble, it is the policy of the city to assure that every individual shall have equal access to and benefit from all public services, to protect every individual in the enjoyment and exercise of civil rights, and to encourage and bring about mutual understanding and respect among all individuals of the city. It is the goal of the Human Rights Commission to ensure that all city residents are treated fairly and equally by eliminating bigotry, discrimination, intolerance, and prejudice. Membership. The Human Rights Commission shall consist of 7 members, all of whom shall be residents of the city during their term of appointment. The mayor shall appoint, subject to confirmation by the City Council, persons to serve for a period of 3 years or until a successor is appointed and qualified. The mayor shall designate a chairperson to preside at meetings of the commission. Duties and responsibilities. the Human Rights Commission shall have as its principal responsibilities: 1, to ensure that all city residents are treated fairly and equally by constantly striving to eliminate bigotry, discrimination, intolerance, and prejudice. 2, to facilitate the exchange of information to residents in the areas of education, employment, economic and business development, and city services. 3, to foster enhanced partnerships between public safety departments and residents. 4, to recommend to the mayor and city council programs and services which enhance the quality of life for all residents. 5, to publish information accessible by the city's diverse communities regarding city, federal, and state grants and programs which contribute to the health, safety, and economic stability of our residents. 6, to network with community-based organizations with the goal of sharing information, awareness of city services and programs, and economic assistance to residents. 7, the commission shall submit in February of each year to the city council an annual report detailing its activities for the prior calendar year and stating its policy recommendations and legislative recommendations to all departments, divisions, and agencies of the city, including the mayor and city council. This ordinance shall take effect 90 days after approval to allow for appointment and confirmation of the members of the commission.
Referred to ordinance.
Item 45, ordinance, an ordinance creating a revolving fund pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton pursuant to the Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, that the following language be adopted as a City of Brockton ordinance. The opioid settlement revolving fund shall be created to support the following programs set by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. 1, opioid use disorder treatment. 2, support people in treatment and recovery. 3, connections to care. 4, harm reduction. 5, address the needs of criminal justice involved persons. 6, support pregnant or parenting women and their families, including babies with neonatal abstinence syndrome. And 7, prevent misuse of opioids and implement prevention education. Expenditures from the opioid settlement revolving fund shall be made on the authority and direction of the mayor of the City of Brockton, provided not more than $250,000 may be expended from the opioid settlement revolving fund during each fiscal year without the consent of the City Council.
Referred to ordinance.
46, ordered that the common necessity and convenience of the inhabitants of the City of Brockton require the laying out and acceptance of Dorothy Road, extending from Boundary Street westerly, a distance of about 480 feet, more or less, and for that purpose, it is necessary to take an easement for highway purposes and lay out as a public street or way of said City of Brockton, said easement passing by or over lands of those persons shown on Exhibit A.
Referred to finance and planning board.
Item 47, ordered that the common necessity and convenience of all of the inhabitants of the City of Brockton require the laying out and acceptance of Corolla Road, extending from Dorothy Road northwesterly, a distance of about 275 feet, more or less, and for that purpose, it is necessary to take an easement for highway purposes and lay out as a public street or way of said City of Brockton.
Referred to the finance committee and the planning board.
Number 48, ordered in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council approve the HDIP tax increment exemption agreement between the city and 46 Montello LLC for the purpose at 46 Montello Street, for the property located at 46
Councilor
Montello
Thompson.
Street.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to make a motion to take this matter under a suspension of the rules and act on it tonight. Mr. President, essentially, this tie agreement is the same agreement that this City Council previously vetted. The only difference is a reduction of units from 64 units to 54 units. This matter has been delayed due to some land disputes. And so the sooner we can act on this matter, the sooner this development can move forward. Tonight, Joffrey Anatoli, the developer of 46 Montello LLC, is here tonight. He will provide a brief presentation of the new development and answer any questions that this council may have.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilors, the motion to take this under suspension has been properly made and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Item is taken under suspension. Mr. Anatoli?
Thank you. So, Councilor Thompson said it pretty well. This is the exact same thing that was previously approved by City Council. The only difference is the change in units. We need to have this change because when we went back to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the project was changed, unit count was changed, and therefore the tax incremental exemption agreement that's, has to match what the project is. So it's really pretty straightforward. That's really it. I brought a rendering. We're hoping to get started next year. We have a few other things we need to address, but as Councilor Thompson said, this helps us move things along. So this is what we're hoping to build. So that's pretty much it. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Councilors, any questions? Councilor Azak.
Good evening, Mr. Anatoli. So the only difference is just the units from 64 to 54, so 10 less apartments?
Correct. So if
Okay.
you go through the, the unit count has changed.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Nacastro.
Thank you. Good evening, Jeffrey. Good to see you. I'm just wondering, why does this have to be done on an expedited basis?
At the end of the day, we're trying to get started early next year. In order for us to maintain tax credits, they won't start re-reviewing the revised project until we have this done. So, this speeds things along, speeds things up by another month or two. Again, we have a lot of uphill battles to deal with in getting this development, underway. And this just speeds the process up, it'll help us get started sooner.
I'm concerned that these matters are generally discussed at Finance Committee meetings, and people watch them as a result of that, and I'm just concerned that the public won't be aware of this. Now, I know you're going down in number, and probably it's a greater concern to people if you increase your number of units and not decrease it. I'm just concerned about the public because you are benefiting from the agreement and financially from the city.
Well, this is the exact same agreement that was already approved by City Council. It was 60% for 10 years. This is the same thing, 60% for 10 years. So literally the same thing that was already approved for a larger project, which would have had a larger, I guess, tax savings is being requested here just to match the reduction in unit count.
And so it's worth not waiting 2 or 3 weeks to
would say
follow the normal process.
It's probably 3 or 4 months. Going back to finance, going back here, reading it in, then getting the decision written in, it's several months. It took us 3 to 4 months to go through the whole process the first time around. So in my opinion, I think 3 or 4 months is worthwhile to expedite.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Farwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ordinarily, I would join my colleague, Councilor Nacastro, on this, but this really is, it's not really a brand-new order. If I'm understanding it right, it's an amendment to our prior order. It isn't worded that way. If this were a brand-new issue that was just coming in, I would agree, but this has been through zoning. I have spent a lot of time understanding this project with Joffrey, and he has jumped through hoops with the MBTA and some other people who, quite frankly, have tried to throw up a few roadblocks, and fortunately, he's been able to navigate around them. So if this were new, to repeat myself, I would agree with the optics. It wouldn't be right to just charge ahead, but really, this is an amendment that reduces what we granted before. We're not increasing anything, and so for that reason, I hope that we're able to act on this evening. It really is a very worthwhile project. If you get into the details of it, Joffrey has some plans that I think are going to be stunning. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors?
Mr. President, then
Councilor Thompson.
I make a motion to approve favorably this order.
Second.
Councilors, the order's been properly made and seconded. Question comes on adoption by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Minicello?
Yes.
Nacastro?
Yes.
Tavares?
Yes.
Texera?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
9 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Mr. President,
Counselor Azak.
I move for reconsideration in hopes it does not prevail.
Second.
Reconsideration has been properly made and seconded. All in favor of reconsideration? All opposed? Reconsideration fails. Thank you, Mr. Anatoli.
Item 49, ordered that the City Council hereby rescind the amendment to the order declaring the city-owned parcel at West Elm Street, Brockton, Mass., known as Keith Field, Assessor Map 58, Route 71-1, Plot 56, being the same premises shown on Plan of Land in Brockton, June 12, 1920, Haywood and Haywood, Surveyors, 28 Main Street, Brockton, filed with Plymouth County Land Court Record as surplus and available for disposition. The amendment reads as follows: to include in the order that the transfer of land shall be subject to a deed restriction which provides the transfer of that the city shall have the right of first refusal, which shall be subject to the city council approval, to execute an option to purchase land at the purchase price provided for on the transfer made pursuant to the order. Said option shall be executed upon the expiration of 120 days upon receipt of notice to the city for the option to purchase back the transferred land in the event the purchaser elects to sell the land transferred in this order. This order shall only rescind the language of the amendment so that the land remains declared as surplus without the restriction contained in the amendment.
Referred to Finance.
Item 50, ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $30,000 from Massachusetts Department of State Police, fiscal year 23 Massachusetts State Police Edward J. Byrne Justice Assistant Grant Program, to the City of Brockton Police Department, fiscal year 23 Mass State Police Edward J. Byrne Justice Assistant Grant Program Fund. These grant funds will be utilized by the Brockton Police Gang Unit, teaming up with the Massachusetts Gang Unit over the summer, targeting gun crimes and illegal firearms possessions. There is no match required.
Referred to Finance.
Ordered that the following named sum be and the same hereby appropriated as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows: appropriation of $55,572.82 from Human Resources Employee Benefits Contractual Union Costs to Board of Health Personal Services other than overtime, Board of Health Personal Services other than overtime educational incentive, Board of Health Personal Services other than overtime stipend, Council on Aging Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, Council on Aging Personal Services other than overtime educational incentive, Council on Aging Personal Services other than overtime stipend, DPW Administration Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, DPW Administration Personal Services other than overtime stipend, DPW Water Enterprise Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, DPW Water Enterprise Personal Services other than overtime educational incentive, DPW Water Enterprise Personal Services other than overtime stipend, DPW Engineering Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, DPW Engineering Personal Services other than overtime educational incentive, DPW Engineering Personal Services other than overtime stipend, Library Department Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, Library Department Personal Services other than overtime educational incentive, Library Department Personal Services other than overtime stipend, Parks and Recreation Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, Parks and Recreation Personal Services other than overtime educational incentive, Parks and Recreation Personal Services other than overtime stipend, Police Department Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, Police Department Personal Services other than overtime and educational incentive, Police Department Personal Services other than overtime stipend, Procurement Department Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, Procurement Department Personal Services other than overtime educational incentive, Procurement Department Personal Services other than overtime stipend, Veterans Department Personal Services other than overtime full-time salaries, Veterans Department Personal Services other than overtime stipend, excuse me, for the purposes of funding the SEIU Local 888 Department Heads Unit Union Contract without detrimental impact on the continuous provision of the existing level of municipal services. This appropriation provides funding for 3 years, July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2025, of a 3-year contract.
Referred to Finance.
Item 52, ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $9,016,226.11 from Plymouth County to unappropriated estimated receipts, American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA Fund.
Referred to Finance. Counselor Farwell.
Mr. President, I would move allowance of a late file on behalf of the Health Department.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded to accept a late file. All in favor? All opposed? The motion passes. Mr. Clerk.
I have a communication to the members of the City Council in accordance with general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44. I hereby recommend that the City Council authorize the acceptance and expenditure of the grant award in the amount of $740,000 from Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office for Administration and Finance, Mask Program Grant to Board of Health Mask Program Grant Fund. These grant funds will be used to purchase and distribute face masks. If you have any questions on this matter, please call my office.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
And now have the order. Ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $740,000 from Commonwealth of Mass Executive Office for Administration and Finance, Mask Program Grant, to Board of Health Mask Program Grant Fund. These grant funds will be used to purchase and distribute face masks.
Referred to Finance. Any other items, counselors? Counselors, any moments of personal privilege? Nobody? All right, well, I want to take a moment to thank the folks at home and some of my colleagues for coming to my ward meeting. We'll be having another couple. They'll be announced shortly. I also want to say, seeing as next Monday is the 5th Monday in the month, there will be no meeting next week. The week after that, September 5th is a holiday. We're not going to be meeting. September 6th is the state primary election. We won't be meeting then, so we will be meeting Wednesday, September 7th at 7 p.m. right here. And I want to wish all the candidates who are up on September 6th the best of luck. Seeing no other business, we are adjourned.